Well, drugs are supposed to make patients feel better, but a new scandal is leaving a rather bitter taste. Drug manufacturers are allegedly using loopholes to extend their patents. That could mean high costs for patients and taxpayers. We're now joined by Macdonald Netshitenzhe, Chief Director at the Department of Trade Industry. We understand that the DTI is the one that issues patents in South Africa. Good morning, and thank you very much, Macdonald, for joining us. Now, these companies are allegedly changing drugs slightly so that they can renew their patents, and this helps them to keep their high prices. Is this problem widespread?
Yeah, morning to the viewers and to yourself. Thanks, but generally you find that there should be a system called substantive examination, which means that the scientists in the area of pharmaceutical should be vigilant to see to it that the system is very strict. And then in a country like South Africa, you find that we use what we call depository system. In other words, these are the so-called weak patents, inverted commas, and therefore we do not have a rigorous system that the scientists subject them to, and therefore a pharmaceutical company may be justified to take some chances.
Oh, now who's responsible for changing the system?
It is the DTI on behalf of the government. And then as for now, we have a draft policy that is before cabinet, and then in the cabinet cycle, all those issues are subject of discussion, and then the cabinet will release the draft for public consultation, public comment, and then pharmaceutical companies and those who are very serious about access to medicines, all of them will have to debate, and then finally cabinet will have to take a decision for or against.
Now, Macdonald, shouldn't the DTI try to fast-track this draft policy process so that the law can change to enable the DTI to implement a more rigorous system? Because until then, we as patients, yourself and everybody else, might be paying much more than we should be for our medication instead, for instance, of benefiting from generic ones.
Yes, you are right. This government is very serious on that note. It is the first one who have released to targeted stakeholders this draft policy, maybe for a period of 3 years, consulting. Now we have sort of a well-formatted draft policy, and then, as I told you, it is before cabinet, and it will try to release it to the public. So we are fast-tracking it, but mind you, we are not only dealing with patents. We are also dealing with other domains of intellectual property, like copyright. We also have to talk about access to learning material for the people who have difficulties in learning, and trademarks and the design.
Okay, but let's focus, just focusing on the patents around the pharmaceutical products for the moment. Are you talking to the health department about the drugs that need to be focused on in the interim to ensure that these loopholes that currently exist in the system are not abused by the pharmaceutical industry?
Yes, correct. We are talking to the Department of Health, and then as an example, in 2006-07, we were engaging with each other to an extent that we even passed the Patents Act. Parliament passed the Patents Act of 2006 to see to it that we should allow inventors or pharmaceutical companies, generic companies, to do what we call studies or BOLA provisions, to such an extent that they should be allowed to make a research on a live patent or a patent that has not yet expired, and then in so much that when it expires, already they should have a product. Okay. That was trying to speedy the issue of access to generics and access to drugs.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to have to leave you there. That's the Department of Trade and Industry Chief Director, Macdonald Netshitenzhe, on the line to us from our studios in Pretoria.
News that moves. eNCA.com.